Disclaimer, the script for this video was made before both Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki were broadcast. I'm not bothering putting them into the script because I can't be asked. Enjoy the video. Well, it wouldn't be an Editron video if it was actually on time.
You'd think in the year 2021, writing would be at its very best with so many talented and passionate people coming together, wanting to make some of the best stories told and present them in an interesting and thought-provoking way, while also being consistent and logical to the standard that has been built up for many decades now. You would think that that would actually be the case, but then you wake up from your fever dream and realise that this is actually true reality and everything is actually really shit.
And that reality is that WandaVision is actually proper balls.
So WandaVision was the MCU's first ever Disney Plus original show, and a lot of hype was building in the lead up to the premiere, with many people not really knowing what the premise of the show was actually going to be, other than the use of the sitcom genre. I was quietly optimistic, even with the MCU's recent run of bad content, even if I subjectively liked a few of them. The writing has certainly fallen off the last few years within the MCU, that we can all agree on. So quite a lot of pressure was on this show to regain the trust we had all lost post-Endgame. So yeah, no pressure. January 15th, the first 2 episodes of WandaVision were released, and honestly, they were quite good, replicating the 60s sitcom tone to a T, along with some pretty engaging scenes between the show's 2 main characters, Wanda and Vision. The following episodes released weekly every Friday leading up to the 15th of March. Before the finale, the show was relatively fine, though it had a ton of issues. Episode 4 in particular was really bad and really started to show the cracks the show had in its overall plot, mainly with S.W.O.R.D. and the world building around the plot. The finale had the utmost challenging task of trying to wrap up everything in both a coherent and satisfying way, while trying to be an emotion conclusion to Wanda and Vision's story that has been building up since Age of Ultron. The question is, was it any good? Well, of course not. Like I said, the finale's fucking terrible. Everything that happens in this finale pretty much undermines and breaks everything in the show, along with everything else in the MCU. And that's saying something considering how broken the MCU is already. The show pretty much belittled any stakes we had going into the episode while breaking the world it's set in. And while the show wasn't great going into the finale, a lot of stuff had been built up to deliver a satisfying conclusion, which really sucks considering how bad this was. I really wanted this show to be good, like I really did. So when viewing this and seeing how everything unfolded and how amazingly broken this was from start to finish, it really pissed me off. So here we are, a video where I rant about a shitty ending to a bad show that I was quite invested in. So yeah, this is going to be fun. So if you haven't seen the show already, I guess don't watch this, but if you don't care and just want to watch me rant about a show that I was actually quite interested in, then hey, hope you enjoy this. Why can't we have good things anymore? So let's start with Wanda, I guess. Let's just rip that band-aid off. She's completely assassinated character-wise in the show, like 100%. She is 100% the villain of the show due to what she does to literal thousands of people without any repercussions whatsoever, along with the fact they actually tried to justify her actions at the very end. But don't worry, I'll get to that. One of the dumbest moments in the finale that involves Wanda is pretty much the event of how she actually wins the fight in the end with Agatha. The runes. How the runes are used are pretty darn ridiculous. How she uses them is really confusing because it just seems like she's just splatting a bunch of her red magic on the hex walls, yet doesn't actually say anything to cast them in any way. It just seems like she's just throwing random splashes of her power towards Agatha, but the show thinks that's good enough to act as if that's a small detail the audience can actually pick up on, yet it doesn't look like that at all. It just looks like vacant red balls of goop. Surely magic that is this powerful would require a very complex way of casting the runes. Yet, we don't get any of that. She just splurts it on the wall and we're meant to assume that's how she casts the runes. Okay. Also, we actually see the runes on the hex walls, yet those runes are not the same ones from when she was in the basement. Don't worry, I checked. And people seem to think because Wanda was inside Agatha's head during the episode, she would then know what the runes are and how to use them, even though we literally see what Wanda has access to inside Agatha's head, which for some reason everything then turns against her. I don't know why, but it just does, because the plot demands it needs to do that.
Like, when it comes to Wanda's mind thing, like in Age of Ultron, it was never that she was actually a part of it. It was more of the person's actual fear that manifests because of their memory. So why does Agatha take over it for some reason? It just doesn't make any sense.
The whole fight between Wanda and Agatha is just amazingly stupid from both a writing perspective and visual perspective. Like I just said, they're just flying around throwing magic back at each other and you don't really can get a grasp of what is actually happening. Like, what the fuck is going on? Also, I'd like to point out how bad and rushed the CGI looks. Like, oh my god, when you look at Wanda when she's in her, like, zombie ghoul, like, state, it's so bad. It's so terrible. Jesus Christ. You can tell that they had to work on this, like, literal weeks before the finale went out. Like, they say the CGI was dodgy because of the pandemic, which is strange to me because you can just delay it. You can delay the show, like how Marvel has been delaying Black Widow for almost a year now. Just delay it. Let the people work on it so it can look the best it can be. Otherwise, your product is going to look absolute shit. Pretty much everything involving Wanda is broken. How her character is pretty much fucked writing-wise. How she actually becomes the Scarlet Witch is really stupid. The fact she doesn't face any repercussions and her actions are actually fucking justified, that is all just insanely stupid. The inconsistent nature of how Wanda doesn't know what's going on but then also does in episode 4.
I don't know how any of this started.
Wanda, welcome home. Should we stay in tonight?
How did you forget that? The show makes no attempt to make it clear that an event made her forget all of that, because from our perspective, she remembers it all and has been pretty much lying the entire time. If that isn't the case, you need to establish how she forgot.
It's so back and forth, and it just seems like the writer didn't actually know how to structure Wanda's character arc in any way. When you get stuff like in episode 4, she knows full well she's in control and tells everybody outside of the Hex to leave her alone.
Stay out of my home.
So, what does she know? You need to be clear on this. It is very important to Wanda and her story that she actually knows what's going on, whether she does or doesn't. Why didn't you stick to one or the other? It's so fucking infuriating when the writing is this goddamn incompetent. Like, they really dropped the ball on her big time. Wanda's a really bad character now, and overall, just a terrible, terrible person. Which sucks because before the show, she was one of the last few remaining Avengers who were actually well written, since Endgame just ruined a bunch of the other characters. Just overall, it's just a complete fucking fuck up. So, when we get to the end of the episode, we have a small scene with Wanda and Monica, with Monica saying,
"They'll never know what you sacrificed for them."
"You cunt!" She literally held an entire town hostage for a week. Wanda made the town go through her bad dreams to the very point where they wanted to fucking die.
Let us die.
Like, how can you be so incompetent as a writer to fucking write that?
You've taken an entire town hostage.
Well, I'm not the one with the guns, Director.
Jesus fucking Christ. They even add this in to make her look better, because fucking Monica would do the same.
Given the chance and given your power, I'd bring my mom back.
Then you're a fucking asshole. God, fuck this cunning show. Like, Jesus Christ, I can't believe they actually tried to justify everything that Wanda did. And speaking of her being absolutely terrifying, what she does to Agatha as a punishment is really fucking terrifying. She traps her in her sitcom persona. Like, Wanda gets to decide what happens to her for just some reason. Just why? When you look at everything Agatha actually did in the show, it's nowhere near the batshit crazy stuff Wanda actually did.
Where were you hiding all these kids up till now?
What?
I assume they were all just sleeping peacefully in their beds.
No, there's a family. Wanda, he has a family, and he can't reach them because you won't let him reach
I
them.
don't know what you're talking about.
Stop lying to me.
I have a daughter. She's 8. If you could just let her out of her room. If I could just hold her, please.
When you let us sleep, we have your nightmares.
Do I need to show anything else? But for some reason, she gets a pass because she's a Goodman / Avenger, even though Civil War made it pretty fucking clear that people are actually afraid of her due to her actual powers and what she's actually done. Like, there's been no reason for any of that to have changed. People who especially have come back from the blip would still be afraid of her. Some people are still going to be quite afraid of her because of what she's capable of. And even now, after this show, she's pretty much a fucking god at this point. She can literally bend reality as she sees fit. But no one wants to give her any repercussions for some reason because, what? Like, Wanda's reputation is actually fucked as soon as this is going to get out to the world. I feel like people would be actually calling for her arrest, or at the very least, asking her to explain what the fuck she did. But I have a very sneaky feeling that they're just going to forget all of this in Doctor Strange 2. They're not even going to mention WandaVision in any way, and not mention how all the stuff that Wanda did was just horrifically terrible, and she is just a morally bad person. I can hope that, they can condemn what she actually did, but with the quality of the MCU right now, it leaves with very little hope of that actually happening. It's honestly a real shame. She's pretty much a broken, poorly written, horrible person now, because I loved her in pretty much every other appearance, like especially in Infinity War. Yet here, she's just a horrible person who does sadistic things and faces no remorse, no repercussions, doesn't even regret what she actually did. But Callum, she was really, really sad. Okay, I don't care. She's the villain and she made people want to die. Actually think about that. They would rather be killed than suffer any longer under the state they are currently in.
Just let us die.
Just fuck her. Just fuck Wanda. Just fuck her so much. She's terrible. She has this line halfway through the episode which is quite inconsistent with her character as well.
Listen, boys. Your mother and I never really prepared you for this.
But you were born for it.
They were born for this? I don't think that's really in character with Wanda at all, considering her interactions with her kids. She's like a character that pretty much is written as a mother who wants to protect her kids from any harm or potential threats whatsoever. Yet she claims that this is something the kids were always born / trained for, even though that is not true at all. They are literally, these kids have been alive for a week. What do you mean that they were born for this? That's just such a dumb line. I love how when Wanda goes after Agatha, she just tells the kids to go and take care of the military. That's just really funny to me. Like, here you go, kids. I know you haven't ever fought anyone in your life, but, go and face the people that want you dead with guns. Go and face them. You'll be fine. Love how great Wanda is. Agatha kind of reveals her whole plan to Wanda, by the way. Like, she pretty much says that she's counting on Wanda using her powers against her.
My powers work out here, or did you forget?
No, dear. I'm counting on it.
Yet, Wanda doesn't even think about this going forward. She kind of just brushes it aside and continues to fight her. It's really weird. Actually, thinking about it, why does Agatha even bring Wanda's kids out from whenever she was like hiding them? Why doesn't she just use the kids as leverage to try and either get Wanda to willingly give up her powers or to actually force her to use her powers against her? She just kind of lets the kids go and run away? Like, what was her plan when she had the kids and was strangling them? What was her plan? There was never a real point to have them out other than, well, we need to release them later so they can fight the military later and we can have our Incredibles shot. Because that's cool, isn't it? I would like to mention one last thing on Wanda. The show pretty much forgets she can reverse time. In episode 2, when you have the beekeeper guy come out of, underground, Wanda says no and can reverse time to just remove that and, no one remembers it. Yet she never tries to do it again against Agatha when in many situations she can. She just decides not to. Imagine she rewound time within the Hex to before she was captured and she would have the knowledge about Agatha and then could attack her or something or capture her. I don't know. This show makes no fucking sense. The magic is so broken. Holy fucking shit. She can also use the time travel thing You know, when she's fighting Agatha to get Tommy and Billy back from her side at the beginning of the episode, or when White Vision is crushing her goddamn head. She can effectively do what Doctor Strange did at the end of Doctor Strange to Dormammu without even using the Time Stone. But she doesn't even try to use it, especially when someone like Vision is trying to kill her. I guess we can move on to Agatha now. That seems like a nice segue. Agatha really is like one of the show's most confusing characters, if not the most confusing character. Like, when she's revealed to be, I guess, the big bad of the show, it's presented in a way as if she's the one behind the Hex origin, or at the very least involved in some of the weird business that's been going on, you know, with fake Petro and all. Yet the very next episode, it shows Wanda being the one and only person who actually created the Hex. So it makes Agatha quite confusing, because why is she making her move now? What was the reason she didn't just capture Wanda before? It isn't ever really explored, which is really disappointing, but it is also just bad writing because the stakes are just really confusing, other than, I guess, Wanda dying. Why does Agatha want her powers? What is her long-term goal? What does she actually want to control when she has her power? Does she want to take over the planet or not? What does she want? The show doesn't ever explore this, which makes the big fight really confusing because you do not know, other than Wanda possibly dying, what the actual stakes are. Like, she has many chances to just take Wanda's power, yet will decide to just let Wanda do whatever she wants, just for an unexplained reason. And people seem to get this idea that she wants Wanda to open the Hex to prove she can actually be a hero and not selfish. But it's not ever explained why she actually wants that at all. It's just this weird force of choice that Wanda needs to make, but really it isn't needed for Agatha from her point of view at all. Why should she care? All she wants is Wanda's power. Just take her power. There's so much to suck. There's loads of it. Look, she's even a big old beam in the sky. You can just bathe your face in it. It's just like she chooses to want Wanda's power when the plot actually demands she wants it. Man, that's the big thing. She's so damn inconsistent with her actions. She just goes back and forth on this weird, like, Wanda isn't a real hero, when she really shouldn't actually care. Taking Wanda's power is her end goal. So many times she could just take it. She can literally bathe in it as if it's a local spa. It's literally just served on a platter for her. Yet she just doesn't, for some reason. And it's really annoying. How about we move on to Vision? Overall, character-wise, there isn't much wrong with him, other than tisms here and there. But I kind of say that with big quotation marks, because the big thing is, he never actually challenges Wanda on what she did to all the people inside the Hex. Even though in episode 5, he actually quite cared about the town and himself and how he doesn't remember anything, yet he never goes after Wanda for it. Like, people wanted to die, man. They wanted to kill themselves. He was very much against the idea of people being taken hostage for Wanda's selfish reasoning. He pretty much forgets about that element of his character because we need to simp for Wanda. She's so great, guys.
I should have told you everything. The moment I realized what I had done.
It's all right, Wanda.
This episode has a really weird obsession with Wanda and her being just the best thing ever.
There are a lot of moments in this finale where Vision just straight up doesn't use his full range of abilities, mainly his head laser, and even White Vision doesn't use it when he should do. He never seems to use it when it very obviously could be of use. Once he uses it, I think it's during the air battle, the first one with White Vision, he uses it, but then never uses it again for some reason. Like, he could have used it against the military, he could have used it against Agatha, you know, at least tried. He could have done it against White Vision in the library, but he decides to want to have this conversation about a ship. And I don't know, I guess the themes, you know, White Vision is actually the original Vision, you know? Is it actually the same? I don't know. When fake Vision, like, unlocks all the memories of White Vision, you think, oh, so we basically have Vision back. He's back now. Which kind of makes the ending of Infinity War kind of less meaningful, but I digress. You think that this Vision would then go and help Wanda, since, you know, he pretty much is Vision, except, you know, it's clear he has a couple weird things with his head, he's got a couple tisms up there, but no, he just flies away, and we never see him again. Like, what? This is what you do with him? You just leave him as if his planet needs him? Oh my god, this is so bad. Oh my god, why must the world punish me with bad writing? It's like, were you so incompetent as writers that you didn't actually know what to do with Vision after this point? Couldn't have him helped in any way? Or just, you know, save Wanda from a tight situation she's in? I don't know anything other than this. Nah, he just fires off. Not like he cares about Wanda or anything, you know, not that the memories of Wanda would urge him to, you know, want to go and help her and save her, because, you know, it's not like Vision loves Wanda. Not that we've established that in this very show already. But that isn't the only Vision that's out of character, because later, when we see Agatha and Wanda about to begin the final battle in the air, we see Vision go and attempt to actually go and help, but Wanda blocks him off, forcing him to the ground. The big issue here is when Wanda pretty much becomes, you know, helpless and limbless, Vision, for some reason, just stands there and does nothing. Doesn't even attempt to go and help her or get her out of danger. He just stands there with the kids and looks up at the sky. Doesn't even try to shoot Agatha with a beam. He's just standing there. Hey, Wanda, are you okay? Do you need some help? No? Okay, I'll just stand here then. The last few scenes with Vision, on paper, seem nice, but when you actually take in the context of the episodes, it kind of falls the fuck apart. Like, we have a Vision out there. This ending, saying goodbye to this version of Vision, it means nothing. We're going to see Vision again. Like, if you don't think we're ever going to see Vision again, then you're blind and stupid. I'm sorry, but it has its memories. This ending means nothing. Oh my god, it means nothing. Like, the acting here is actually really neat. Like, it's good acting, but fuck me, this scene is so fucking far beyond fucked. It's just utter nonsense.
You are my sadness.
Great dialogue. So that's pretty much Wanda and Vision just completely broken. Their characters are dead now. Wanda is a terrible person, and Vision's back and is inconsistent. Both versions anyway are inconsistent. And it sucks because the scenes between Wanda and Vision are some of the best in the whole show.
I've always been alone, so I don't feel the lack. It's all I've ever known. I've never experienced loss because I've never had a loved one to lose. But what is grief, if not love persevering?
It just truly does suck. Also, can I just mention the kids and how they almost got shot for super dumb reasons? Okay, so in the town square, we have the military just lining up in formation to shoot the kids, right? Why they do this? I don't know. These kids are fake and have been alive for a week. I don't know why they're trying to kill the kids. Just kill Wanda and they'll disappear. Why does Hayward want to straight up just gun down these two kids for doing absolutely nothing wrong? Hayward himself unloads a full clip of his gun onto these kids, which is only 6 shots for some reason, even though, you know, most guns like that would have either 15 or 16 shots. I'm not an expert on guns, but I know those kind of guns hold more than 6 shots, okay? The writers seem like they wanted to make Hayward the bad guy, yet it's so shoehorned in. Like, because before this finale, pretty much everything that Hayward does is kind of understandable given everything we actually know about the world and Wanda. Wanda previously was against the Avengers, she went rogue in Civil War, and here she's taken an entire town hostage for her selfish reasons. Hayward before the finale didn't really do anything wrong at all, yet the show presents him as this massive corporate evil man because he turns comically evil and wants to shoot kids and doesn't have any remorse in that attempt in any way.
She's holding thousands of people hostage.
And it could have been thousands more if she hadn't put up her own quarantine. Listen, I
love how when he's about to shoot the kids, they just don't use their powers against him. You don't have the Flash kid run around and take his gun. You don't have the other kid just mind control him to not shoot or pause or whatever like he's done with the others. They just decide to just look at him and stand there and do nothing. Did you guys not see how well they actually handled 20 other soldiers? No? Okay, we'll forget about that. Another thing about that scene that is really funny, just as all of this is happening, fucking Monica just turns up out of nowhere, manages to actually get in front of the kids in time to block the shot somehow, knowing she could actually die. Oh, she's so great, Monica. Like, Monica is literally Captain Marvel 2.0. Like, she's so terrible. Also, Hayward actually just misses the children. Like, she shoots in between the kids. How could you miss them from that range? Like, he's almost as bad as Stormtroopers in Disney Star Wars. Like, that's how bad that shot was. So then after that, Hayward just starts to run away, but Darcy somehow manages to get there in time to crash into him. Where the hell did you come from? Like, you literally just came out of nowhere, been missing for like 2 episodes. Yet, oh, she's here now. Well done, Darcy, you saved the day. Also, that's it for Hayward. That's his character dealt with. He absolutely has nothing else to do in the episode. He literally just gets taken to jail, I guess. Oh, I haven't even talked about Mr. Boner himself. So y'all know Evan Peters, right? He was Quicksilver in the X-Men films. He was pretty neat, you know, in those films. Did you know he actually turned up in this show? Yeah, no, that's pretty cool, right? You want to know what they actually did with him in this finale? Do you? Oh, well, it's quite simple, actually.
Boner.
He's a boner joke. No, I'm not even kidding. He's a fucking boner joke. Evan Peters Quicksilver in the MCU is resorted to a goddamn boner joke.
Boner.
What the fuck has happened to the MCU?
Going into this finale with Quicksilver, seeing what he really was and what he was going to do and how this would change the MCU as a whole was really interesting. But instead, the writers thought best to resort him to a bad dick joke. I'm so glad my investment in the show was worth it. I'm glad I wasted my time. I fucking hate myself. How is this show going to tie into Doctor Strange 2? Like, let's be real, this show was only really made to get Scarlet Witch into the MCU now that Fox is under the Disney umbrella. What could have been a really good show was plucked all of its potential for a generic, bloated, uninspired, and shallow ending with some terrible character assassination. This is what we got. I can't stress this enough. This is the worst piece of MCU content that's ever been made. Yeah, you heard me right. It's worse than Captain Marvel, it's worse than Dark World, it's worse than Iron Man 3, and it's worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp, and it's worse than Endgame. This show just sucks ass. The writing is just so bad, it ruins anything that had any merit going into this finale. Like, anything good is just terrible now. It's all broken. It all makes no sense whatsoever. Fuck this show so much. When I finished this finale, I felt strange. I was confused with what I'd just seen, and I really didn't know what to think. So after talking about it with friends and picking it apart, yeah, nothing in the MCU is worse than this. This is the worst piece of MCU content ever made. It just is. I'm sorry. It's broken to its very core. The writing is just abysmal. It is just awful. Absolutely awful. I have no idea how the writer got this job at all. Everything about this just stank of awfulness. If you, for some reason, like this finale, like, cool, good on you. I for sure question your taste, because I cannot even begin to imagine coming to the conclusion that this show was anything but shitty, that this finale was anything but just shockingly shit. It's actually kind of amazing how broken this finale is. Like, there's so much stuff I haven't even mentioned, you know, like White Vision for some reason going after Vision instead of Wanda, even though going after Wanda was his prime objective, and killing Wanda would, you know, kill the fake Vision. Cool, I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you made the right choice, White Vision. Like, it's a real shame. It is a real shame. We could have had something really cool and something well put together, but no, it's 2021. Media is at its all-time low with creativity and talent. So, yeah, WandaVision is an absolutely terrible show, and the finale is one of the worst pieces of content I have ever watched. It upsets me how bad the show got. It really did, because I really enjoyed the first, 3 episodes, and it was really fun to have maybe some good MCU content for once, but yeah, the show's bad. Absolutely fucking terrible.
Oh, and so was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And so was Loki. Go and watch Daredevil.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and enjoyed all the tisms. Any feedback on this video would be massively appreciated. I will see you for the next video. Have a great day.